The year is 2038 and the United States has gone broke. The government needs cash fast, so they're having the biggest garage sale of all time and everything must go. Let's check it out, see what we get our hands on in Warehouse 51. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rolling Movie Reviews. My name's Kirk, your host. As always, thank you so much for watching. And I feel like it's been a while since I've got to do an actual board game review, so I'm very excited today to be talking about Warehouse 51 from Funforge Games. Like I said in the intro, the year is 2038. Years of excessive borrowing have left the United States bankrupt, but even in insolvency, America proves how awesome it is by handling it in the coolest way possible. They're going to bust open the gates of Area 51 and sell off all the secret, cool, awesome artifacts we've been hoarding for years and years and years. This is where the players come in. We take on the role of billionaires who are showing up for this auction and trying to get our hands on as much of this stuff as possible. So without further ado, let's take it to the table, check out Warehouse 51. You see here the 4 decks, or the 4 sets of crates you're going to be bidding on. Each one represents a different portion of world culture. Blue is fantasy and Western literature, so you get things like the Philosopher's Stone and Excalibur. Green is European mythologies. You got your Golden Fleece. You got Mjolnir, the Hammer of Thor. Lots of cool stuff like that. Gold is Near and Middle East, Spear of Destiny, and Ark of the Covenant. And red is Far East. You have Peaches of Immortality, for example, and Maui's Fishhook. So you have all these different items on the deck you're going to be bidding on. You see here you got your point value, and then each card has a special ability. And these special abilities could be positive or negative. If it has a star on it, that is a blessing. It's a good thing. If it has an X on it, it is a curse. And that's a bad thing. The card's still going to count towards your point value, but something bad happens to you through that item. And you have to determine, is the item worth it? Is that curse going to be worth the total overall value of that card at the end of the game? Every player is going to start out with 10 ingots. These are worth $1 billion each, believe it or not. Very simply, it's a simple auction game. One player reveals a card. The bidding begins to their left. A player has to decide, am I going to bid on this or not? They say a number if they're going to bid. Everybody else either bids or passes till all but one player is passed. That player wins. If there's a closed fist on the card like there is on Mjolnir here, it's a blind bid, so that means everybody takes their money they want to bid, puts it in their fist, and reveals simultaneously. Whoever puts out the most money wins that item. Either way, open or blind bid, the winner takes the item they won, then they take the money that they bid, and they pass it to the player on their left. So the money is always going to be circulating around the table. It never goes away. It doesn't go to the bank. Somebody is always going to have all the money in the game. And then very simply, play continues. Whoever won the last item reveals the next one. Bidding begins to their left. So it's one ongoing auction until all the items have been sold. One monkey wrench in the works is the fact that you're going to have out these counterfeit cards. These counterfeit cards represent every item in the deck down here except for a few items whose special ability is that they cannot be counterfeit. One counterfeit card is going to be dealt out in between each player at the table. So you're going to be able to look at the card on your left and on your right, so you know which 2 items are counterfeit, but there will be others that you don't know about. At the end of the game, before you score, all these counterfeit cards will be revealed. If you possess an item that shows up as counterfeit, it is removed from the game and it doesn't count towards your final scoring. There are certain items that let you lay down this certificate of authenticity, and if you have a certificate of authenticity on an item that comes up as counterfeit, the counterfeit cards kind of cancel it out, and that item still counts for you. You take on the role of one of these characters: El Falcone the Gangster, Charles Cavendish, Oscana and Son. I'm not going to try their last names. And then we have Zach Muckenberg. I'm sure we know who that's supposed to be. And we're probably rooting for him to win because he's just going to give all this stuff away, right? And you see on the cards you have the layout of each deck. The cards aren't evenly distributed. You have number of 3s, number of 2s, and number of 1s in each color. And you can see there's a different number of total cards. And then at the end of the game, you're going to score based on what's here. Whoever has the highest point value in blue is going to get 8. Whoever has second is going to get 6. And down the line, green, yellow, red. And then you get 5 points for each complete set you have of different cards. And you get 1 point for each 5 gold pieces you have left. You tally up your score, and whoever has the highest point value walks away with a bag of really cool stuff and wins Warehouse 51. Hey, look what I won. Pretty cool, right? I really like the theme of this game. I love the idea of bringing together all these legendary, extraordinary items and selling them off in a mundane, kind of silly auction. And there's a lot of cool stuff in here. You have the Hammer of Thor, you have the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, so you'll be playing with tons of Indiana Jones references. And just all these other things that you've heard stories of and you know about, and that come together in this game. And they all have pretty cool powers that make you feel like you're actually getting that item. The only downside of the game, I think, is that you play every card every time. So, first of all, I think thematically the novelty might wear off. It might be like, oh, I got the Excalibur again. And mechanically within the game, I worry that the more you play, the more experienced players are going to learn to understand which cards you really want and which ones you don't necessarily need to have. So make it repetitive after multiple plays with all the players going for and avoiding the same items. I wish the game included more cards and only had you play a certain number of them so the game would change up every time. And I'd love to see an expansion that did that. I really like how the auction works, and it's a very simple game, very simple mechanic. There's only one mechanic in the game, it's an auction. So if you can teach that and you can learn that, then you can play. So it's a very accessible game, makes it a nice, lighter introductory game for new players as well as experienced players to enjoy. And the idea of passing your money along, the fact that it's going to rotate adds a lot to the strategy, because you got to decide, okay, if I spend a lot of money on this item, it might help me out, but it's going to be a long time before I see that money again. So I got to decide, is it worth it? Especially if the players to your left are doing well, do you really want to help them continue to build up their little empire by adding to their money? So you got to decide when to spend, when to save, and also what's the player on your right doing? When's he going to start spending? If you see his bank rolling up, you realize you could be a little freer with your money because he's probably going to buy it big soon and pass that money along to you. The game plays 3 to 5 players, and I think 4 or 5 is a sweet spot. Probably 4. I think with 3, the money's going to be moving around too freely and going to make it a little less challenging. With 4 and 5, you pass that money along, it's going to be longer until you see it, so you have to make much tougher decisions. I like the components and the artwork in the game. All the items look cool. The character cards are neat. No variable powers, and again, I'm a big fan of variable powers, so I wish everybody would do something a little different, but they're all cool looking. They do the same thing. The scoring's neat. I like the way the end of the game works, all the different ways to score. I like the counterfeit cards because that avoids kind of a front runner problem where you can just see someone running away with the game and you never know to the end how much of what's in front of them is going to count. So that really keeps suspense up throughout the game. Makes it harder to plan, but also makes it more suspenseful and more tense. Overall, this is one I really had fun with, really enjoyed. If you don't like auction games, if the idea of auction games in general turn you off, you're probably not going to enjoy this. But I like how it works, and I like that little twist of passing the money. I think that adds a lot to it, adds a lot to the strategy. It's a great looking game, it's really fun. Like I said, I'd love to see an expansion with more artifact cards that you add to the game and take other ones out. And also, I'd like to see variable powers on the characters. But other than that, as is, I think it's a very fun game. You should probably check it out. Warehouse 51. It just hit me. Wasn't Warehouse 51 a sci-fi original series? Well, I don't know. If it was, this game has nothing to do with it. And that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tell me what you thought. Tell me your thoughts on Warehouse 51. If it's something you've played or something you're thinking about checking out, let me know in the comments below. Also, while you're at it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. You're also going to want to visit our sponsor website, alteregogames.net. They're going to have lots of great games for you, lots of great deals. Check them out. You won't regret it. If you want to check out some of our older videos, you can find them on YouTube, Facebook, Board Game Geek, or the Alter Ego Games site. That's all I got for this time, guys. Until next time, have fun out there.